If you own a law firm and you're not showing up when someone is searching for a lawyer in your city, you're handing every single case that should be yours to the firm that's down the street. I've taken firms from invisible to the top of Google Maps in under 6 months, including one in Rockford that grew calls by over 1,200% and another that killed their entire ad budget. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Let's go. Your Google business profile is by far and away the single most important asset for ranking on Google and getting more cases from it, right? And most law firms don't understand this and have them set up completely wrong. Before I tell you how to set it up properly, I want to explain to you a little bit about why it's so important. Take this search right here, for example, personal injury lawyer in New York. You hit enter, you're probably going to see an ad like you were seeing earlier before. You're going to see some business profiles, and then you're going to see some organic results. 5 to 10% of people who search are going to click on an ad. That means, 90% are going to then scroll past that. 60% are going to click 1, 2, or 3. They're going here. The rest of them are going to scroll down. So you're fighting for scraps effectively down here. And you're also fighting against super lawyers. Those websites are very hard to compete against. And if you put yourself in the searcher's shoes as well, they're realistically not very likely to scroll. They just got hit by a car. Maybe they're going through a divorce. They got pulled over for a DUI or a traffic ticket. They're not going to read this stuff. They're going to see, all right, some lawyers appeared. I know I need a lawyer. Let me just click their profile. They're going to look at your reviews. They're going to see, all right, this guy is good. Cool. You know what? Let me just call them. Or, you know what, let me visit their website. That's the conversion mechanism. 61% of the clicks are going to these guys. So you want to make sure you're here. You can get ads going. That's fantastic. You can get your organic results too. That's good. But if you really want to get the most amount of cases and the quickest, it's going to be optimizing your Google business profile, right? And the way that we do that is a couple things. I'm just going to use the law office of Richard M. Kenny as an example. He's doing a good job. You want to make sure your primary category is set to the types of cases that you want to collect. If you are a firm that does both criminal and family law, you want to make sure that what you put primarily is the types of cases you want. If you want more family law, put that primarily. If you want more criminal, put that. This signals to Google that this is your specialty, your niche. You want to make sure that it's set up correctly. In an ideal scenario, if you do a whole different bunch of types of law in one office, maybe you separate the floors in your office or the units in your office and then have a separate business profile that's dedicated to one particular service area. That way you can optimize it for that. It's very difficult, if not downright impossible, to rank one business profile for everything. And I find a lot of people will just put generic law firm here, and that kind of just kills their rankings for the types of cases that they want to get. So be very specific about this. Another thing that we want to make sure that we focus on is your reviews. You want to be having a system or a pipeline in place where ideally at the end of every case, you send out a message, hey, we'd really appreciate it if you could give us a review, and give them a direct link. Follow up with them 2, 3, maybe 4 times, because that's really going to help you. The more reviews you can get on a consistent basis, the better it is, right? And I say consistent basis because you'll see sometimes, like for example, this is the perfect example. Greenstein and Patari LLP have 756 reviews. The law offices of Richard M. Kenny only have 356. A lot of times people will be like, well, I have more reviews. Why am I not higher? And it's because, well, you might have more reviews, but your total number of reviews isn't nearly as meaningful of a metric to Google when determining rankings as your review velocity is in a 90-day period. As in, how many reviews did you get compared to your competitors in the last 90 days? Again, this isn't like a one shot, like, if you have more of these, you're going to rank instantly, but that's a much more meaningful metric. And it's harder to calculate. You can't just see it looking at, 356 versus 756. Or there's a gap of 400 reviews and these guys are still beating them. So that's why having consistent reviews matters way more than just having a whole bunch all at once. Spread them out, make sure there's consistency, there's a pattern that you guys are following, which is going to give you guys over time more results. Another thing that we can focus on here is making sure that we fill out all the services. Bicycle accidents, boating accidents, car accidents, city personal law, construction, workers' comp, slip and fall, dog bite, you name it. We want to make sure all the different services that you guys do are listed and the service areas as well. So all of that, and then, regularly posting to your Google business profile, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, that type of stuff really helps as well, with photos of who you guys are, where you guys are, the firm, all that type of stuff. It's really helpful. This type of stuff can really move the needle quickly. For example, this is a client of mine, they're a PI attorney. We've been working together for about 7 weeks now. I'm just gonna go show you guys January to May. The only reason I'm showing May is because it's June 2nd right now and the data is not even in, right? So I wanna show you complete months. Again, they were getting, 20-ish calls a month. We optimized all these things. Like they had just law firm, right? We optimized them to be personal injury. We set up a review generation system. We added photos, showed them who they are, all that type of stuff. And in 1 month, they doubled their calls on average, right? And the next month, May, they had 33, which is again, about 70, 80% more. Website clicks, again, they're up 13%. Directions, people getting direction requests to their business, almost 2.5x, right? So these little things, when you do them correctly, move the needle in a massive way. And because of this, they were able to sign about 23 new cases in the 6-week span. It's low-hanging fruit, it's tedious, nobody wants to do it, but you need to do it if you actually want to rank. All right, quick thing, before I keep going, if you'd rather have my team handle all of this for you, instead of you doing it for yourself, click the link in the description and book a call with me. We only take one law firm per city, per practice area. Another thing, so this is your sort of Google business profile. I'm going to show you how to optimize your website as well. So again, we're going to take this guy's website, for example. I don't know who he is, no relation to this guy. There's a couple things that we want to make sure that he's doing well. So he has a free consult, fantastic. It's bright and in your face the second you see it. From a organic perspective, now again, this is not for a local business perspective. It helps, but it's not necessarily the best thing. We want to make sure that your H1 tag, like your on-page stuff, is telling Google what you're doing. So here, battle-tested New York City personal injury law firm. Fantastic. It's not keyword stuffing, but you want to make sure the keywords that you're looking to rank for are actually in your H1. It's the single most important structural thing on your website that Google looks at outside of your meta title and your meta description. And you should have those same things in there as well. Accident attorney, New York City, personal injury lawyer, law offices of Richard M. Kenny. Fantastic. Again, you want to make sure you're including your city name alongside, the keywords that you're trying to rank for inside these places. Again, you can optimize your H2s, your H3s, etc., but nothing is really going to move the needle as much as your H1 alongside your meta title and your description. That stuff is very, very important. You're also going to need to have a page for every single type of case that you want to get. And just because it speaks to a different type of person. Somebody who's bitten by a dog wants a lawyer who has experience with dog bites. Somebody who's slipped and fell wants an experience with somebody who's slipped and fallen. And Google knows this. So they're not going to rank you for dog bites if you mention it just one time on the homepage of your website. You need a dedicated page for all that stuff. Images, photos. Again, you need to have a clear call to action. All this type of stuff really is going to move the needle. And the next, really important thing that, a lot of people forget is the vast majority of web traffic nowadays actually is on mobile. Visit the mobile version of your website. Is there a call to action that's available at all times? Do you have a header or a call button that's sticky as you scroll, right? Can people fill out the form immediately? Most people are not going to scroll, if you have a form down here, they're not going to scroll that far. You're assuming that they will, but you need to make sure that they have the ability to take action immediately. That is going to help you not only rank, but it's also going to help improve your organic sort of conversion rate, right? So a little bit of conversion rate optimization will go a long way. One thing that we implemented that moves the needle really quickly is having Calendly embedded directly on your website. If I got hit by a car, if somebody else got hit by a car, they're going to call up as many people as they can that are personal injury attorneys to try and get on the phone with somebody, right? So at that point, it's a matter of who answers the phone first, or if they're going to fill out a form and then it's up to your team to follow up with them. Maybe it's late at night, it's the weekend, it's the holiday, whatever. These people need help now. And the best way for you to convert these cases is to make sure that they don't go to anybody else other than you. How do you do that? You just tell them to book a meeting with you directly. They go to your website, here's the Calendly, here's my calendar, book a 15-minute talk with an attorney right here, right now. If they do that, they're not going to go to 3, 4, 5 other people and then book meetings with the attorneys. They're off the market and it's your unique personalized lead that you can capitalize on. So that type of stuff is very important. So that alongside, setting up the Google business profile, the stuff that I was trying to say, that is exactly what you got to be doing, consistently getting those reviews to make sure that you're moving the needle and you're going to start to rank. Here's the part that nobody's telling you. You can do everything that I just covered and still be on page 3. And there's a reason for that. It doesn't take months and months and years for this type of stuff to take effect, especially on the Google business profile side of things. On the organic side of stuff, yes, SEO does take longer. And if you think about it, that makes perfect sense because Google needs to, one, update their understanding of your website whenever you make an update. They then need to see, all right, what did you add? What did you remove? Okay, then compare you against everybody else. And then finally decide when to update rankings. It's not like you put out a website page right now, it's going to change and influence the rankings immediately. It's going to take time. How long is that going to take? That depends entirely on Google. Usually that happens every 2 to 4 weeks. And that's why if you make changes right now on the organic side of things, it'll play out out later. That's why the organic SEO takes time. Whereas local, you can see results within a couple days. Like if you want to see a really extreme example, if you just type into Google personal injury lawyer near me and it's 9 o'clock, it's going to prioritize the businesses that are open. So that's another, idea that you have in your mind. Find a way to get your business open longer. Maybe hire an after hours call service, stuff like that, and then change your hours to reflect it. You want to be available and open to people while they need you. That's very, very important. Look, if you actually want to rank on Google for your law firm, click the link in the description and book a call with me. I'll personally look at your firm, tell you what's broken, and show you what it's going to take to fix it. There's going to be no junior account managers, no agency runaround. You're going to talk directly to me. We only work with one law firm per city, per practice area. So if your market is competitive, your spot might already be taken by the time you watch this. Book the call and find out now.